I am 100% COVID free. And so we needed a little extra time to take care of that, and we did. All right. Welcome back. You're watching what's taking place, obviously. Many of you with great attention. Joe Biden, should he run or shouldn't he? You're watching the Democrats duke it out, kind of. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to put a fine point on what's actually going on here. When you listen to these debates, when you listen to the discussion, even by the good guys, the issue is never what's best for the country. The issue is always what's best for the Democrat Party or not. The way that this is phrased is, will he hurt Democrats, down ticket? You have some close Senate elections. Will he push those toward the Republicans? He's very, very low in the polls and going lower and lower. You have Democrats who believe that he needs to stay in because only he can beat Trump. Democrats say, we can't beat Trump, he's got to go. What's best for the United States of America? This is in kind with what I've told you, that the Democrat Party is about party first. They knew, the Democrats and their media, they knew to a man and a woman that Biden was suffering from dementia. But with deceit and censorship, denial, and yes, intimidation, the most radical agenda and policies would continue despite his dementia if they could get through the election. And they know that the government isn't actually run by Joe Biden. They run around Joe Biden. It's led by a cabal of unnamed, faceless revolutionaries and powerful bureaucrats. The debate stripped it all away. The propaganda, the layers of lies and deceit. 50 million people, tens of millions who would not otherwise have watched, saw Biden for what he was and what he is. They saw it. They heard it. So the New York Times, CNN, the media, which are the Democrat Party, which lead the Democrat Party, not the other way around, said for the sake of the party, he's got to go. Then there are the diehards who say, no, for the sake of the party, he's got to stay. He's got to stay. We'll vote for him no matter what. For the party, anything goes. Any kind of rhetoric, calling your opponent Hitler and so forth, character assassination, lawfare, all the rest of it. It's for the party, not the country. And when you listen to these Democrats speak, both the official Democrats and the media Democrats, if you substitute party for country, or country for party, you get a better idea of what they're talking about. This is the Marxist mindset. The party is more important than the country. The country is what the party decides it shall be. The presidency itself, the Constitution, the free press, separation of power, none of it matters. How many years have we been told about CRT and DEI? How many years have we been told that the Constitution is nothing more than a document of slaveholders to enshrine their own power? How many years? Now, I'll further prove the point. Who would take up the cudgel of the presidential candidacy if Biden decides not to run. It would be Kamala Harris. There's not another Democrat of any weight or substance who will decide to take her on. They'll wait their turn. Why? Because all their talk about women and men being one and the same and things ought not be genitalia specific, that's all BS. That's for the masses. That's for the plebes out there. But for them, they have their first woman vice president. They want to campaign on her being the first woman president. They want to run on abortion. And, of course, they want to run that she'd be the first black. Now, I've said before, she's not an African American unless you go back generation after generation after generation. She's not popular in African American communities. She did not light a fire under the African American community when she ran for the Democrat nomination for president in 2016. She was the first to drop out. She's still weak, but that's not my point. My point is this. Kamala Harris is not qualified to be president. She's not qualified to be president, not because of some technicality in the Constitution. She has spent 4 years covering up Joe Biden's dementia. She's been a loyal liar, propagandist, censor to the American people about Biden's fitness, his sharpness, his wisdom, his decision-making. And whenever she was asked, she lied. Other times when she wasn't asked, she voluntarily lied. Harris lied scores of times to the American people for the purpose of deceiving the public. And she did it through all the Democratic primaries, even days after disastrous Biden presidential debate. She lied. This in of itself is disqualifying, but it's much worse. The indisputable fact is that our Constitution cannot properly work when the Vice President of the United States is nothing more than a self-serving, dishonest, reliable propagandist for an incapacitated president and her party, the Democrat Party. The 25th Amendment was drafted, adopted, ratified to specifically address, among other things, this situation. That is, where the president is not able to competently undertake his immensely important duties, which are uniquely vested in his office. He's the unitary head of the entire executive branch with enormous responsibilities. Now, Kamala Harris has known Joe Biden's condition, but she's put her own political ambitions and those of her party ahead of the constitutional duties for which she swore an oath of office. She's disqualified. Even today, as I speak, where the debate goes on throughout the nation about Joe Biden's dementia, about the fact that now 8 times a Parkinson's disease neurologist, an expert, visited the White House. As the evidence piles up further and further, she has no intention of calling a meeting of the cabinet to address this. Without the leadership of the vice president, the 25th Amendment is a dead amendment. In other words, unless the vice president, working with the cabinet, takes the steps outlined in the 25th Amendment to remove an incapacitated president and triggers the process to do so by involving Congress in a very public way, then the entire purpose of the amendment and the process set out in the amendment are defeated. And right up to now, she has no intention of carrying out her duty as vice president under the Constitution. And this is the biggest duty she has. Is there anybody other than the most diehard zealots who believes that Biden is qualified to run for re-election? Other than Karen Goldberg, a.k.a. Whoopi Goldberg, and her ilk? And if he's not qualified to run for re-election, given his diminished mental capacity, he's certainly not qualified to remain as president. The fact is that Harris, through her lies and deceit, and her failure to uphold her constitutional duty under the 25th Amendment, is hugely responsible for putting our country in this precarious and unprecedented situation. And the idea that she is to be somehow rewarded as the next in line for the Democrat Party nomination, should Biden bow out, is appalling. But notice the media don't even mention what I'm telling you. None of them. Notice the Democrats don't mention what I'm telling you. Notice their surrogates are silent because they don't care about the country or the Constitution. She has demonstrated in real time that her own political aspirations are more important to her than the well-being of the nation. Day after day, as the second most powerful executive branch official, she has witnessed firsthand Biden's dementia. Yet at no time was she moved to safeguard the country and follow the Constitution. She is complicit in this greatest of cover-ups, and even now doesn't lift a finger to undertake her most important duty as vice president. And but for the debate, she was more than happy to continue this ruse. It's unconscionable what the media have done to our country by covering for Biden and the Democrat Party and engaging in this massive cover-up. But even now, as parts of the media turn on Biden because they think he can't win, they're worried about their party, Harris still has done nothing to address the ongoing danger to our nation. Why? But Mark, if she triggers the 25th Amendment and Biden's removed, she becomes president. Ah, yes. But not for long. The party regulars, the party activists, they will condemn her. She wants nothing to do with it. She wants to be handed the presidential nomination by Biden at the convention. Or if he's reelected, she's there just in case to step in. But unlike the horrendously corrupt American media, the Pravda, the Al Jazeera that is ours, Harris has a continuing constitutional duty, which she simply will not uphold. And so today, America faces a twofold constitutional crisis. A president who's not competent to be president, and a vice president who refuses to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Because neither are in the best interests of the Democrat Party, only the country.